Hello everyone, and welcome to Brisbane Internet Meetup for April. Very glad you could come. Tonight Ben Madden's here from Matter Solutions. He's going to be talking about SEO v AdWords, and I'll hand it straight over to him. You could probably do your own introductions and whatnot, so just want to click that onto your shirt. Yeah, you can just go there, and they can just go in your pocket.
Great, thanks Aaron. Well, hi everybody. I'm Ben from Matter Solutions, and yeah, SEO v AdWords sounds a bit sort of controversial, hostile. It's not really that I'm going to talk about, you know, you should use one or use the other. It's actually about trying to help you understand where one is more useful than the other in what circumstances, and cover a reasonable bit of ground, hopefully. I'm going to start from a fairly basic level and kind of push forward. If people get stuck or confused or anything doesn't make sense, feel free to just, you know, let me know and I'll cover it as we go, because it's better that one person says, yeah, I'm not sure, and then we answer the question for the other 3 or 4 people that don't, you know, that don't say I'm not sure, but are thinking it. So, okay, who is this guy? And, you know, what's, phone call? So who is this guy, and what's you know, what's he doing talking to me about this stuff? Well, I started my business in 2000, and quickly I found myself in a niche of being a web consultant. So, you know, a lot of people I was at uni with, or you know, I was working in investment banking. You know, they went off to startups in the .com boom and became web designers. So, you know, people with blue hair and funny things, about 11 years ago now, and I found that I could actually coordinate projects quite well and find technical specifications, technical requirements from people, and put together business requirements with what web designers and web developers could do, and just create kind of comprehensive packages. And then pretty much straight away out of that became this whole kind of link building world, that we would launch a website and we wouldn't really see much traction for it, and you know, the client would have to do some advertising and, you know, all these gimmicks about, you know, branding on paper bags or whatever. And we found that link building and search engine submissions, actually getting out to all the search engines, it had a serious effect. It had some improvement. Anyway, that was the precursor to SEO as it is now, and really started selling the service to clients in 2004, when I was working with a fairly big link building company, and we had some insurance clients, and we had clients in property investment and all sorts of things. So some quite competitive things, but really it was all part of this comprehensive approach. And then I moved to Australia, so looking after Google AdWords accounts as part of that, this whole comprehensive thing. Moved to Australia in 2006, and continued my business, Matter Solutions. I finally got around to doing my exams in 2008 with Google, having been running accounts with them for quite a few years for lots of clients, spending lots of money, and I thought I should get on and do that. And now we've got to the point of, you know, being a certified partner, and we've been running some pretty big campaigns for various clients. But no matter whether the client is spending $1,000 or $50,000 a month, the same principles that I'm going to talk about tonight apply. AdWords is an interesting beast, so that's, we'll go into that a bit more. So right now and the future for us, we're actually working a lot with web designers now. So we're looking for web designers that we can connect with, look after their clients, make them look awesome, and we're really not building many websites at the moment. We look after clients who have websites, but yeah, that's sort of history now for us. Okay, so Matter Solutions. Why Matter Solutions? Leads are more important than visitors, sales are more important than leads, and we record the right metrics. We actually sit down and make sure the client is getting some information that they can understand as a business owner, and that's what you guys need to do. You know, in your websites, get the Google Analytics installed, get the goal tracking installed, and get it set up so that you can measure simple numbers. Even if all you get is that only one goal was met this week, because next week, if you get 2 goals, you know that this week was twice as good as last week, and so on. So you can make informed decisions. That's just really important. So I know There's probably some people in the room who've seen some, be a millionaire online and all that sort of stuff. I like this graphic because it shows a lot of hard work and effort over time, big flat line for a long, long time, and then it grows. That's the way that I look at internet marketing, that you have to put a lot of effort in, and it starts to add up, and as long as you're doing the right things and measuring it and pushing, it can really take off. I mean, that's a really important thing. So SEO, search engine optimization, Google AdWords. Let's quickly cover SEM. Search engine marketing is also another term for AdWords. SEM obviously covers the other players, really Microsoft now. We won't go into that at all really tonight. The highlighted area in red, I'm guessing that everybody knows that that's pay per click. Every time somebody clicks on that area, it's costing somebody somewhere some money. But you can't cost your competitor umpteen millions of dollars by clicking their ad again and again. It doesn't work like that. The green area is no cost per click. Now, there's a few things come out of this. People set a budget here in the AdWords side. So they'll set a budget and say, well, I'm only willing to spend $50 a day. If it's $10 a click, you can afford 5 clicks. Well, pretty basic stuff. But that means that Google's only going to show you enough times to get you 5 clicks. You are here on the right-hand side at some, instantaneous kind of auction that shows you just enough to get you the clicks. And then once they've spent your budget, you're not there for the rest of the day. And if you're running the accelerated program, that can happen. You can spend all your clicks by 6 in the morning. So there are different ways of configuring your AdWords account. Accelerated gives you the clicks as soon as the time slot opens up. You can schedule an AdWords campaign to run only at certain hours in a day, certain hours during the week. That's quite an interesting strategy sometimes. SEO, on the other hand, and this is going to totally show my bias here. SEO, on the other hand, you're there all the time. You're not paying per click, but the kick with AdWords, with SEO, is that you have to put a lot of hard work and effort into being there. So, that being rude about all the people that spend a lot of money on AdWords, AdWords is pretty easy. All you need is a credit card and a big bank balance, or a big credit card, whatever, both, hopefully. But all you need is a credit card, and you can go and spend a lot of money. And we've seen some interesting situations there. I'll talk about those in a minute. But SEO is hard. In comparison, it's quite hard. It takes it takes a fair amount of time, and it takes quite a lot of effort to actually get there. But once you're there, can anybody tell me where do most people click? They click the left-hand side at the top. They know these are ads. Since this screenshot was taken, Google doesn't say sponsored links anymore. They say ads. It's much smaller. But people still know those are adverts. Google's trying out different colours. I don't know if anybody's noticed that, but they're trying out different colours to see, if they can get you to click the ads a bit more. But essentially, most people still click the SEO area. So the simple question that I pose to potential clients is, if you know that this is where most people are clicking, and most people are really clicking the number 1, where do you want to be? And it's about putting that hard work and effort in to get there. And why would you want to do that? Because this is really old data, but this is the best data that we've got, really. This goes way back, and this is when AOL was serving up Google results. Some data leaked out. 40% of people click the first one. About 11% click the second one. 8.5%, 6%, 5%, 4%, down to about 3%. Okay, obvious. Is this obvious? Maybe, maybe not. But the really interesting thing about this is the relative strength of position 11 to position 10 is tenfold. You know, and we see this. When a client transitions for a major keyword, when they transition from page 2 to page 1, we had one phone us up once. What happened? What happened? You know, the phone's just ringing all the time. What's going on? That, you know, it's just that. It's just a major boost in traffic that's just going to keep getting better. So now that client is up here. So they've gone threefold. Go from where they are now to there. That's another fivefold. From position 3 to position 1. You know, I talk to clients who are number 2, number 3, and they say, well, you know, we really want to be number 1. How much is it going to cost? Okay, quite a lot of money. Is it worth it? Yeah? Would you like 3 times as many visitors to your website? Would you like 3 times as many conversions? Because if you're tracking your website, remember, as I said at the start, if you're tracking your website and you know how many conversions you get, even if you're only getting 2%, if you know that for every 100 visitors you're going to get 2 sales, and you know that you can get 3 times as many, you can do the math. You can actually do the math and work out, well, I know I'm getting 1,000 visitors making 20 sales. If I do this work, I'm going to get roughly 3,000 visitors. I'm going to get 60 sales. So what effort am I willing to expend for another 40 sales every week or month or whatever it is? And that's where having the numbers is critical. You have to be measuring all the way down the line. So, okay, really quick comparison. SEO, no cost per click, and it's slow to begin. It takes time to build up that momentum, and I'll explain why in a minute. If you stop spending, stop putting that effort in, the links, the effort that you're putting in, takes time for it to be recognized by Google. So it will actually continue, but it will actually fall off. If you're going for anything meaningfully competitive, it'll fall off as competitors try and get above you. So it builds up over time, and it usually delivers a lot more traffic. AdWords, on the other hand, it's great. If you're in a rush, when a client says to me, I really want to be top of Google and I need it done tomorrow, AdWords. Now, explain to them the difference, that there's no long-term value in AdWords. There is a little bit, but we'll come to that. The people that do actually click the ads, a little bit kind of anecdotal, but there's arguments to say that the people that do actually finally click over here, they're aware these are ads. A good proportion of them are aware that they're ads. They click them because they feel more confident that they're going to get an answer. You know, think about the person who's sitting down in front of Google at that time and trying to solve a problem. You know, I have a sore neck. Right, sore neck, remedies, research. Yep, if they need an immediate answer, and AdWords has it there for them, there's a good chance they could click on that. Given the right ad, given the right kind of landing page, then you can convert them. So, hang on, we'll just... Okay, I just want to cover these 2 points. This is a bit to do with the maths involved in AdWords. AdWords isn't as simple as bid and go higher. Because when you're running these adverts, go back to here again, if you're here and paying $4 per click and you want to go up, what do? What can you do? You can improve your bid. You pay $5. Okay, so up you go. What happens as you go up the page? What have I shown you about clicks?
It improves your chance of getting clicked.
Exactly. So you're more likely to get clicks. So as you go up the page, your click-through rate will improve, given that the ads are all kind of equal. But if you write a really good ad as well, then your click-through rate will improve as well. So if you've got a really good click-through rate, the click-through rate is the major factor that contributes to what they call the quality score. And the quality score is just as much a part of this ranking as money. So that's why I say on that other slide that Google punishes you or rewards you depending on the quality of your AdWords campaign. And that's where a lot of people go wrong with AdWords. And like I said, we've had the experience of dealing with someone. Yes?
The stats that you showed before, is that for both SEO and SEM or just SEO?
Could you repeat that question so that we can get it on the audio?
Yeah.
No, the stats that you
not you.
Yeah,
Ben,
I'll repeat it.
sorry.
Yeah. So the question is, was the click-through rate graph, was it applicable to SEO or SEM? Well, it's actually applicable to both. The principle of it. So if somebody's deciding that they're going to click the SEO, I mean, that actual data is just so kind of fuzzy that it's like it's not relevant to either case. I mean, I'm not even sure whether that data had ads in it, but irrespective of that, it's representative of user behavior, of whether they click the first or the fifth, or the 10th. And that's true of AdWords. And the way that I kind of theorize about it and work it out is that I'll say, given a certain environment, a certain page, that maybe 15% or 20% of people are going to click the ads because they're active, they're frustrated, and 80% are going to click the SEO. Well, 40% of that, 80%, okay, I'm getting really fuzzy with the maths now, but let's say you've got 100 people, 80 people are clicking here, 20 people are clicking on the ads. Well, the vast majority clicking the ads are clicking the first one of the ads. Many, much less down there. So to answer your question, it applies to both, really. Does that make sense? Okay. I guess the main issue that I'm trying to get across is that Google AdWords actually rewards you for having a good click-through rate. So as your ad goes up, you'll get a better click-through rate. As you improve the quality of your ad, you'll get a better click-through rate. So your quality score improves, and if you keep the same bid, then your ad rank will improve. So you're ranking in this list here. So you can actually get to the point where you're at the top, and you might be paying less than the person who's down the bottom. The real nightmare is that the opposite is true, and we've seen this with, I can't really talk about the exact specifics of the case, but a guy came to us, they were paying over $50 per click. Typically the cost per click in the market that we were looking at is around about $20, so it's an expensive market anyway, but that they got themselves into such a pickle that in order to remain on page one and to get clicks, their ads were had such poor history, such an abominable kind of, terrible situation, that they had to, compensate for the poor quality score by bidding, beyond anything reasonable. And it was a horrible situation. We had to sort of dig them out slowly, bit by bit, and get them exposed to more traffic with, some new ads and some kind of innovative keywords to try and get them some clicks to try and heal their AdWords account. But that's what I mean about AdWords being getting rewarded for for good performance and punished for weak performance. We kind of view it like an eagle, okay, flying, and you've got to be able to glide. You've got to be able to keep the thing spiraling upwards and gently improving. And at the worst, you've got to keep it on a steady level, because if a competitor does something that means that your ad then goes down and you start falling, you've got to react to that. You've got to keep it up. And that's why these autopilot AdWords campaigns, sometimes they're a bit dangerous, because they can end up bidding more and more. And yeah, there's some new, I don't know if you've seen these new rules that you can program in by AdWords. It's not something we really want to get into, but yeah, it's basically writing good ads is the key, and having good landing pages to convert the convert the visitor. I mean, it's kind of obvious, really, but it's that conversion to a sale that's essential. So, okay, so this is kind of goes into the idea of it being a virtuous circle or a vicious circle. We had a client who they were number 2, but they were in equilibrium with the guys that were number 1. Google loves this situation. We sat down with the Google account manager, and he just loved that these guys were spending tens and tens of thousands of dollars on running these campaigns and just living in equilibrium with their number 1 competitor. The number 1 competitor was paying slightly less per click, but because neither competitor was really changing their ads, because their offerings don't change, they're just offering the same products again and again and again. Everybody was happy with the status quo, especially Google. And then when we came in and we advised the guys to change their spend and change this and do this and spend some money on Facebook advertising and try some other avenues and go after their own brand actually in AdWords. Because if you go after things that are correspond to your own brand, correspond to your own domain name, the keywords that go along with your domain name, there's some bonus there in the quality score. And as I've already said, the quality score is a constituent part of where your ad will rank. So if your competitor's trying to bid on your brand, they have to pay more for it than you do, which obviously makes sense. And in their case, it made a lot of sense because their competitors spend a lot of money on their brand and they were missing out. In terms of the whole picture, they were doing a lot of SEO as well, but the trade-off between SEO and AdWords, when you're at the point of wanting to get as much traffic as you can possibly squeeze out of the page, who cares that the AdWords costs some money? Obviously you want to keep the costs minimized, but it doesn't really matter that it costs some money. If you're trying to squeeze as many clicks out of the page as possible, it isn't an either or. You do both. So, okay, so, all right. How do I do it on the shoestring? So this is really my quick 5 points guide on how to do AdWords on a shoestring. I would never start an AdWords campaign until the landing page is sorted. And this gets tremendously tedious sometimes for clients. And I understand that, and so we spend a lot of time working with clients to make sure their landing pages are absolutely brilliant. I mean, who runs AdWords here? I mean, and are your landing pages really a big focus of that of the work that you do, or is it?
Yeah, as long as it's permissible to do so, yeah, for sure.
Mine goes straight to the website, the main page.
Okay. Does it work?
Only just started.
Okay. I'd probably fix that. Because the really key thing about a landing page is it has to be a compelling reason for buying the thing there and then. As I've said, the activity level of somebody who's clicking on an AdWords ad, they've actually, not always, but generally, you can assume that they've got a bit more buying intent than somebody who's just surfing around in the SEO. And so you can put them under a bit more pressure. You say to them, I will solve your problem. Put your details in. I mean, is it a lead generation or is it a product sale?
Lead.
Yeah. So if you're explaining to somebody that you can solve their problem, put that all in one page and don't let them out of that page. We've recently increased the conversion rates for a particular client by just that. We edited their landing page and we basically said, don't let people leak out this page. Even the logo used to have a link on it going to the home page. No, get rid of the link. Yeah, when people hit this page, seems a bit rude. Come to our website. We pay even to bring them there. Come to our website, fill in this form, or go away. Like it seems funny, but it works. It really does work.
So you're saying put on a separate URL for the
Yep.
AdWords versus SEO, so if you're successful in
Yep.
offer something and just get their email and then target them that way.
Yeah, yeah. Why not? It's the best way to get, you know, to maximise your conversion rates. If you know, there are various reasons why you might want to show them. You know, me for example, I might want to have them click around my website and see a whole raft of products that I've got on offer. If I can't craft a landing page that does that all within one page, well, yeah, okay, maybe landing them on the website is acceptable. But in that case, if I'm spending a lot of money on AdWords, I might want to bump up the conversion rate focus of my website. Instead of it just saying contact, I might want to say phone number and fill in this form now. You know, that's it. It's actually about talking to the visitor in the tone, you know, in the tone that they're expecting. You know, if they're clicking on ads to get into your website, then they're, you know, they're not going to be afraid of a bit of sales. You know, that's really what we're talking about. So the landing page is really all about getting that landing page, conversion tracking. You know, bang my little drum.
So are you saying not to have a link at all from the landing page straight to your website?
Ideally not. No. If you can make a nice concise offer in one page, like we've done A/B tests to know this stuff. There are plenty of people out there to, you know, to attest to this. There are conversion rate expert people all over the place that say this. You know, there's even YouTube videos and things explaining this. If you can create a nice, concise landing page that has your offering and it has some reinforcement, you know, some testimonials or some, you know, the standard issues. If I was trying to sell your product here in the, you know, in the shopping centre, what are the objections that I would get? You've got to overcome those all in that one page, and you've got to say to people, I will solve your problem and I will contact you in 4 hours or within one business day or whatever it is, so that you can then, you know, communicate your message 24 hours a day. And then when I would create an AdWords campaign, so this is on a shoestring, but one of the issues here is that you need to be careful about keyword selection. Google's in the business of selling keywords. These guys aren't billionaires by accident. You know, they're selling these keywords, and what they really want to do is to get you to buy quite a large portfolio of keywords. And there are different ways of having the keywords that you want match to what the visitor is typing. So there's issues there, but that's quite in depth, and I'm not really going to go into that now. But just be careful about your keyword selection, and be careful about the suggestions that Google comes up with, because they'll suggest the broadest and widest opportunities for you, and they're not really usually worth taking. You know, you take them under advisement. So you can add them and then pause them and then modify them into phrase matches or whatever, but there's some good stuff there. There's a particularly neat tool if people are a bit advanced and, you know, want an insight into what's great. The broad match modifier is the best thing. But that's a fairly advanced kind of thing.
In other words, say you were making a specific product, better off narrowing to that rather than saying you're into carpentry, because carpentry would go.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. So if you were making kitchen cabinets, yeah, if you're going to try and run an AdWords campaign for kitchen cabinets, well, kitchen cabinets obviously, but you'd want to put that in quotes maybe, you know, to make it a phrase match. So kitchen cabinets, cabinets Brisbane, cabinet makers Brisbane, all in a phrase. So you're really trying to, you know, match just those phrases and go after that traffic initially as you start to learn AdWords, learn how it behaves. If you just put in kitchen cabinets without any quotes, without any square brackets or anything on it, you just put in, you know, cabinets Brisbane, it could match all sorts of things, you know, boxes Brisbane, potentially. I mean, I don't know about that specific case, but it could match a whole load of stuff that you're not really expecting.
And then there a field there where you can start putting the word
Yeah, you can, but that's where there's a negative matching thing. So you can say, oh, I don't want words like cheap and free. Yeah, you know, that's pretty standard. I would just put that in a lot. But what you really don't want to do is have a situation where it's matching all sorts of things that just aren't relevant. So in order to minimise the stuff that you have to monitor all the time, because there's a lot of stuff to watch out for, particularly a click-through rate, this thing. A bit of jargon there. The click-through rate is something you really need to keep an eye on, because that's, like I said, the major part of the quality score. The thing you've got to really watch out for is adding keywords that are broad matching. Like for a novice starting out, I just wouldn't really do that. I would focus on phrase matches and exact matches, and really try and come up with permutations. Like kitchen cabinets as a phrase match would match kitchen cabinets Queensland, kitchen cabinets Brisbane, kitchen cabinets Redcliffe, North Brisbane, all of these things, because it has that phrase kitchen cabinets in it.
So you're saying with the wider one, your click rate will be all right, but it'll be people who don't want your stuff. They want something wider. It could be anything.
You would get lots of clicks.
Yeah.
So yeah, your click-through rate might be great, but yeah, your conversion rate would be shocking. Yeah. And generally, it just seems to be, works pretty well. Given a sort of a novice approach, bid pretty high, and then as your click-through rate is up there, what you're trying to do is create the virtuous circle. So you've got to create yourself a nice bit of history. You've almost got to like buy your position in there by earning yourself a bit of history. So you bid pretty high to start with, get yourself a good position, and there's a new thing to watch out for that Google's now showing their map. Let's just go to this. Google's now showing their map over the top of these results sometimes. So I'm guessing that you guys know that there's a map appears there. So the click-through rate of being number 4 has gone down massively. So you really need to bid pretty high to get up into the top 3.
I'm not saying it's a negative account.
Depends whether the video's on or not. If the video's not on, yes, start a new account. If the video's on, no, Google says you have to keep the same account. Okay.
Video's always on.
Okay. Well, I didn't say that then. No, strictly speaking, you're supposed to keep the same account.
Yes. I understand.
Yeah. So, okay, just back to this. This is the hard bit. Hard for some. This is the bit that where the most of the traffic is, the left-hand side, the SEO. So why are we going after this? It's where most of the traffic is, and people are going on about how much of a market share Google has got. This 80% number came from Hitwise in March last year. We've seen stuff that's higher than that since, and so on, and Bing and Yahoo and how that all goes together. Essentially, we're really only talking about Google today because we have to refine it down a bit. But what the other guys do isn't too far away from what Google does. So, just bear in mind that this works for all. Yeah.
So, like, even if you're not going to target for SEO for Yahoo or for Bing, some of the tools that they offer are awesome, aren't they? Like with demographics in Yahoo,
Yeah.
Site Explorer, whatever it is, going into that. So yeah, the tools are pretty good.
Yeah, Yahoo Site Explorer is really good. I mean, I know these guys use the same tool that we do. The Open Site Explorer, really has taken over for us. We don't use the Site Explorer very much at all now, and yeah, it's nice. There's a lot of free information you can get from them. I'm not too sure how much longer the Site Explorer is going to stick around, but I think Microsoft want to kill it. But we'll see. So this is well known in the SEO world, the SEO industry. I mean, when I talk to people, I say that SEO isn't like building a house. It's not like you need foundations, walls, doors, everything on a roof. There's a lot of bits and bobs to it, but fundamentally, it's all about words and links. you've got to have those words on your website. We'll look at that in a minute. But you've got to have the links that point into your website. So, I mean, words, this cheesy bloke here with this funny website, that's why words are important, because that's what Google sees, really. That's just text. You know, all of those pictures and everything, all this stuff up here, gone, you know. Google knows they're there, but really, Google's interested in the text. And this was a while ago when we were targeting a few different things. But having good, well-written text in your websites, the ones that you want to rank, is essential. And I'm in the camp that believes that having good semantic structures in your HTML actually can help. There's a lot of debate about that. And it's hard in SEO to isolate one factor over another and say, that's the thing that makes me rank. Well, yeah, maybe not. It's not really about that. It's about, for us, about doing a lot of good best practice things, not necessarily doing what all the sheep do. Just do the right things that work. And I'm going to cover that a little bit. This was a client of ours, had a Flash website. You cannot optimize a Flash website, okay? It's invisible. It's invisible. You can cloak it, you can do all sorts of stuff, you can do dodgy things, but all things being equal, an ugly HTML website will always be able to outrank that because it actually has words in it. So, all right, how do we look at the words? And this is true for AdWords as well, actually. We would, you know, analyze words in this way for AdWords too. So come up with some ideas, talk to your friends, whatever, you know, look at your product, look at the benefits that it delivers. You know, we looked at something for someone about, you know, pain and health benefits and things. Well, you know, there are so many people searching for pain of specific parts of the body. So if you've got a pain remedy, well, you know, you can target back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, wrist pain, you know, it goes on and on. But the really good thing about that is if your product specifically treats neck pain, you can easily scrub out all of the stuff that isn't to do with neck pain. Or if your product really sells well to people who have, I don't know, wrist pain. I don't know why they'd have wrist pain, but, you know, using the mouse too much or something. But you can evaluate the dollar value of that sale because you know that that keyword has a good potential of converting to a sale. And you can give that prominence in your keyword analysis. So that's really how it goes, that you go through lists of words, extrapolate into synonyms, you generate, you know, lots and lots and lots of words, go through them and score them. You know, we'll even go to the point of generating lists and scoring them out of 10 and saying, well, you know, we like this word better than that word. Rate them, you know, just rank them in Excel. Say, well, we like these ones, so let's take the chunk of 10s and let's see if we can actually, you know, get some traffic from Google. So, you know, we can analyze it that way. The result is that we really want to come up with a refined list of words to target. And the whole point of that is that we've got to focus the effort. You know, if you want to rank for 50 words and you end up ranking page 2 for all 50, well, great. That's very bad. That's a big waste of time. Ranking for 50 words on page 2, all right, assuming they're all, you know, the same kind of traffic, you'd be better off ranking for, remembering that it's 14 times as busy. It's actually 140 times as busy at number 1 than on page 2 anywhere. So just one word. Just one word. So focus your efforts. Normally we pick about 5, 10, 20 maybe. Focus your efforts. And get the words into the website just naturally. You know, this is where we don't follow the sheep. You know, there's a whole lot of tools online that you can use to say, I'll grade my website and, you know, give me an A grade because I've got the keyword here, 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 here. No. No. Don't do that. Because you know that the next update that's going to come along, well, maybe not, I don't know for sure, but, you know, we were talking before the start of the presentation about the Panda update and the changes that Google has made to penalise shallow quality content. Well, yeah, but isn't the next step beyond that to penalise all the websites that are like sheep and they just go SEO? Well, to SEO I've got to tick these 20 boxes. Yeah, don't be one of the sheep. I would warn against that. Change the title tag, change the content. Do it where it's natural. Do it where it makes sense. The title tag is particularly important.
That's pretty true because if a machine or another computer can tell you, you can say that your website's ticking all the boxes, and Google can tell straight away you tick all the boxes, the content's not good enough.
Yeah, bang on. You know, yeah. Do you want to be on the radar for being, you know, a mediocre SEO? No, you don't. So, okay, once we've got the words in the website, why does one website outrank another? It's all about the inbound links. So, big asterisk. Get any links you can. Don't get spammy links. Don't go and buy them. Don't do anything really dodgy. Be careful. So, you know, get any links you can, but get good quality links. There are lots of different places to get links from. Forums, blogs, comments on do follow blogs. You can find them. It takes some skill to be able to hunt for things in Google and maybe even Yahoo or Bing to hunt for specific strings that you're looking for. But there are ways and means of being able to find places to get links and build quality links. And as you acquire links over time, what you're doing is you're chasing after the person that ranks already. So probably what I should have put in as a slide before this to say, okay, you want to rank for neck pain. We do a search in Google, you find out who ranks for neck pain. Find out how strong their website is. So you can use the Yahoo Site Explorer, or you can use the Open Site Explorer. That's a great site, opensiteexplorer.org. And you can find out how many websites link to that competitor. And you can find out how many websites link to your website. And when you know how many link to your competitor and how many link to yours, you've quantified what you've got to do. You've got to fill that gap. So even if it's 50 different websites that have to link to you, you know, given that not all links are equal, but let's say you've got to acquire 50 different websites linking to yours, just put a plan in place and get it done, and measure it over time. Yeah.
How do you put the links into your website? Just say if you find a travel agent, just have their website link address on yours.
No, it's really important that we clarify this. It's not about links out of your website. So if I go to my website and I add a link and I say, okay, I'm going to link to Aaron's website. Aaron's website goes up. Mine doesn't. Okay, so that's great for you. It's great for your SEO. It's nothing for me. So it's actually the other way around. You want to find places on the internet, even directories, things like Hotfrog, TrueLocal. We've even got a list on our website of 10 free directories, getting links into your website that say that your website is good. And the issue there is that visitors are able to leave on that link. You know, not necessarily that people there hunting around on these websites. You know, much as TrueLocal would like to have you believe that their website is busy and full of visitors, it's not. But any visitor that does go there could leave through the link that goes to your website. And Google knows that, and Google sees that as a citation of your website and the quality of your website. It doesn't ascribe much value to that particular link, but it at least has some Australian flavour. Yes?
So when you're saying links, does that mean like yellow pages and all those people you subscribe to have a link to your website?
Yes, I would definitely not say the yellow pages. So things like yellow pages, Facebook, they're kind of a bit of a black hole as far as Google is concerned. I wouldn't necessarily say that there's much value to get links from yellow pages.
Other sort of things like that affect
Yeah,
your
yeah. There's lots of directories. There's loads of them.
But that takes time to build as well.
Yeah, it does. It does. But then part of this is that's why SEO takes time. Is because you've got to build these links over time, and not only have you got to build them, which takes time, but Google's got to recognise them, which takes time. And remember, not all links are equal. You know, we have one analogy that links are like coins. You've got a handful of coins, and you say to a 5-year-old, there you go, pick 5. Yeah. They don't know the difference between a $2 and a 10 cent or whatever. Well, they might. My 3-year-old doesn't. So, you know, let's say, you know, they pick some coins and they don't know. So you need to be a bit careful about the links that you're trying to acquire. You want to get the really good links. You want to spend more of your time getting the $2 links than you do getting the 10-cent links, you know? And that's generally why the reciprocal links are just, avoid them like the plague. When somebody emails you out the blue and says, give me a link, they're offering you a 10 cent for, well, yeah, they're offering you a 10 cent in return for a $2. You know, there's no two ways about it. And in most cases, they'll take the 10 cent back.
On the links, mate.
Yeah.
Two questions. I know that the number of people who follow the link back to your website, that improves your quality rating of your website in that particular search keyword?
It's not really about traffic. So in terms of the number of people that follow the link, you mean people that click the link?
Yeah, so if you post a link on a forum or whatever it may be and they use that link to get to your website,
Yeah.
that, from my understanding, improved your quality rating of that search keyword in the...
No, the traffic isn't anything really to do with your ranking.
Okay, it's just the number of links. The pure number doesn't matter if people follow it or not. Just
Yeah.
that it's out there.
And it's known to Google, and that it comes from a strong website. So if that forum has a link on it, and that forum has loads of links going to it, and that particular thread in that forum, or your particular post in that forum has heaps of links going to it, and is well respected and well ranked itself by Google, then the strength of that link actually passes through to your website to some extent. I mean, there's lots of leakage on something like a forum because there are lots of other links going to all sorts of other places and so on. But yeah.
It's actually true what you're saying, but it's correlational, not causational. If a lot of traffic comes through that link, that will mean that that website is very popular. It's got a lot of traffic. Why it's got a lot of traffic? It's good rankings, good branding. And that link is likely then more valuable than the link from a website with low traffic. It's not necessarily that that link will give you better rankings.
Yeah.
But if a link also sends some traffic your way, that's a potential hint that it might be actually a good link.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
help your rankings. That the actual traffic, but it's only a signal.
Okay. So you can't just stay up all night clicking on that link and it's
No,
going
that
to
wouldn't work.
No.
All right.
Even if you swapped your IP addresses around, that wouldn't change anything.
All right,
Right. Okay, so what is a link? Bit of code there. It's the clickable bit, and really the links are signals. So the links, well, coins, balloons, all sorts of metaphors. So the links here, they're balloons. You know, as you want to add on new links, and we did in fact have. I did a demonstration back in September. We videoed it and everything, where we had a big net and heaps of helium balloons. It was so noisy, it was unbelievable. And really, it is all about the signals that you're giving to Google by generating these links. It's that, well, ideally, that's a strong link. You know, it's a big balloon that's really, you know, going to give you some lift. But it's also that it comes from the right type of the right type of website. You know, if you said that the colour was blue that you ideally wanted, and you could get some pretty good blue links, but the strongest links you could get were green, well, you know, you might rank for something sort of different or whatever. They still help, and that's why, you know, back to that previous slide, get any links you can. You know, it's a good rule of thumb, especially if you're doing your own link building, and you know, you don't have to worry about kind of hitting limits and getting into trouble. And there's some negative signals and stuff. If you go out and buy heaps of links and you acquire links in a kind of a strange pattern, so you've had no links acquired on your website for a very long time, and then suddenly you've bought 500 links from China or something, and then you've had no links for a very long time. You know, those 500 links that you suddenly bought and that kind of showed up maybe over a time, they could be discounted. And it doesn't really happen so much of getting a penalty, but you can carry a penalty for doing really dodgy things. It's really that Google doesn't necessarily penalise that much. They're not quick to penalise. The issue really is that, you know, let's say, you know, you've got a top 10 that you really want to enter, but you just can't seem to get the links that you need. Well, if Google was quick to punish people, you could just have a bash at doing some horrible link building for the people in the top 10. Yeah, and that's the issue about the whole sort of the negative rankings and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we'll sort of leave that aside. So, okay, this is a little bit of a same thing. SEM. Oh, no, that should be SEO on a shoestring. Oh well, typo. Brisbane plumber, for example. Type whatever it is that you want to rank for in Google. Just type it slowly so you see what Google's suggesting. And if the word that you're looking for doesn't show in Google, then just go back and try again. You know, try and come up with a word that Google actually knows something about, because those words that Google's suggesting to you, it knows about them because there's been a history. Like, there are better ways to do keyword research, obviously, but yeah, this is on a shoestring. So you search in Google and find your website. Just find yourself. You know, there's a couple of little quirks that you can do. You can put, if you're happy with editing the web address and don't want to go clicking through all 10 pages, you can put the ampersand and num equals 100, and you get the whole first 100 results, all on one page. And you just press Control F in your browser, search for your website, and you see whether you're there. You know, even if you don't show in the top 100, fine, just record it that you're not in the top 100. And just write it down. Email yourself. Do something to make sure that you know that you ranked for this phrase on this day at this level. Maybe you're 80th or something. And then you go and add these 10 directory links that we've got listed on our website. Go and add those 10 directory links. And edit your title tag. So that's the bit at the very top of the website in the blue. Edit your title tag, and then with some links and that one edit, maybe edit the page as well, get it in there in a sort of a natural way. Wait a few weeks and check again. So go back and search. So step 3, search in Google and measure where you are. You will improve. I mean, you might not get to page 1, but you will improve. Almost certainly get inside the top 100.
You know, when you start searching,
Yeah.
do you search a global web or pages in Australia?
I just search for the whole web. Generally, like, it depends on who the client is, you know, obviously, but working for an Australian client, we're using google.com.au and using all of the web, because that option of searching for pages from Australia, nobody really uses it anymore. It's not something we would.
I don't tick on that for anything, but sometimes I only get the Australian results.
Yeah.
Why is that? You know, you go on google.com.
Yeah.
And you put in llama or kitchen cabinet.
Yeah.
You get Australian
Yes. That's because it knows where you are. It can sense where your IP address is, and in the bottom left-hand side, generally it'll say, you know, we've got your location as Brisbane, Sydney, whatever. You know, I was on the 3G thing the other day, and it thought I was in Sydney. You know, so I got a whole different set of results, and I thought, well, you know, something strange happening here. And you can just change that and say, well, no, I'm actually in Brisbane. You can change that. You know, and you can even change it, you know, Spring Hill or Redcliffe or whatever. So you can get different results based on that. But you know, they're trying to do all sorts of things, and there's always somebody that comes out and says, oh, well, SEO's dead because they've brought out this new feature. No, we're not going anywhere. Yeah. Okay. So, questions? Is there? You know.
The site that you said before, is that open site before?
Yeah, the website that I said before, I'll actually just add it here. It's open site, explorer.org. I think the .com works as well, but that's it.
Is that a free product and service or cost?
You do have to pay for the full-on kind of information. It's about $80 US a month for the basic thing, but yeah, it's provided by SEO Moz. But there's a reasonable sort of free search thing. I think it's limited to 5 searches a day or something. So you know, there are limitations on it, but it's so good. It's really worth having a go at. You know, and if you're serious about doing SEO for your websites, it's well worth $80 a month. Well worth it. Yeah, the keyword thing where I went through and did the scrub and you know, the suggestions and all that. Yeah, the keyword tool, Google keyword tool. The thing to remember about the Google keyword tool is the broad matching data is garbage. Just use the exact matching data. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and sometimes you see some real weird stuff going on, and you know, and it doesn't match up with what, you know, we got, like, I'm sure you guys have got it as well. You got #1 ranking client, and you know that they're getting a decent amount of traffic, and the data coming from Google is just rubbish. But in the absence of anything better,
That's a penalty right there.
And then
yeah.
Google ban you.
Well, I mean, I didn't really cover it, but the thing about the negative, you know, negative signals and stuff. There's a product out there in Brisbane where you can buy a lot of links, but the guy has no page rank whatsoever because, you know, he's selling links, and Google really frowns upon that, and so, you know, he has 0 page rank. And the whole thing, the whole network he's got, you can analyze it with the Open Site Explorer. They've got heaps and heaps of root domains, heaps and heaps of different websites interlinking with each other. But it's basically looks like a big spam nest. It's horrible.
Sure. You know? If the sites, like if the URLs though are actual contain real content, that's cool. Or
yeah, I would probably try and put them all at arm's length, and you know, yeah.
Look, if it's 5 or 6, it's not going to be a huge issue.
Yeah.
Because Google always have to err on the side of caution. They can't just blacklist you off, you know, them making a call. They really need to be able to see that you're doing something really dodgy.
Yeah, we took on a thing that the guy's got 130 across 2 servers, 2 IP addresses, 130 sort of small sites, and they basically all link to one money site. They're all just like, it's all about this. And this thing, this main site, you know, it's a big, very expensive site to develop and market and all sorts of things. It's filtered, totally filtered. And so we've got to, you know, we've got to take this mess and fix it. I didn't actually.
Okay, doesn't matter. Anyway, I'd just like to extend my thanks for your talk. We'll field some questions after this. I just wanted to close it off here before the video shuts down, and wanted to extend all of our thanks to you for presenting that. And I actually got some nuggets out of that, and I hope that everybody else did as well. So thanks very much, Ben. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks.
So what we'll do is we'll just keep fielding more questions, any general internet questions, or just break and mingle. Whatever you want to do, the formal part of the presentation is over.